Shane turned me around. I was on for like my best result at Adelaide. I've never had a great run at Adelaide. I've had shit luck. I've poled it and qualified in the front row and just never had a good one. Anyway, Shane, one year, do you remember this? You spun me around. I was in the.
Yeah, I caught you from
he would have deserved
caught
it.
you from way back. No, he didn't deserve it, but I remember catching him from miles back. He was going well, but we're in the middle of the nowhere, not really racing each other. I think we might have been off strategy. I can't remember, but he took this wide line into turn 9 and he thought he was letting me go, and I sort of half committed, ended up spinning each other round. But yeah, if we just let each other pass and carried on with our days, we would have got a good result. But
it was where
a couple of blokes just hunting some apexes down at turn 9.
But it was where I like chat about that one because I learned a lot that day because you got the penalty for it. But personally, I remember thinking, fans might see us in races, you indicate to let someone go sometimes. Like we've all done that at a point where it's not your race and you're an alternate strategy.
You got fried for that in Newey, didn't you?
In Newcastle I did, big time. But sometimes you'll let someone go and they think it's because you just, you're soft or whatever. But what it is at that point, that would have been my smartest move. We were off strategy. We were 4th or 5th, but there was a big gap behind in front. And I didn't know you were on fresh and you caught me like 1 second a lap or more. And I tried to hold him back. And I remember in hindsight thinking, because I got stuck on the inside curb, it was a fucking disaster. Like I was beached and I went to last. Yep. And
I remember
thinking Shane got the penalty, but this is where fans might not realise when we let someone go sometimes it's because you might get them back later in the race or it's not your fight that day. And you probably would have won the race. I think that year you were like blazing and it ruined my day.
Yeah.
And you mature a lot in those. Like I hate that happened and I wish it didn't because it still would have been a very good, that's probably my best result actually at Adelaide. You took away from me there. But it is definitely like as a driver, you learn a lot at tracks like that because they're the places that normally you don't just get bumped and run wide or have a spin. Any other track, I would have rejoined in 6th. Would have had a spin, rejoined 6th, you got to drive through.
Yeah, it costs you everything.
Adelaide and those places, you learn the most through some of the shittest periods. But I think that place is unique. I don't know what it is for me, whether it's because of my home event. I've never had
bit of pressure, mate.
Maybe we talk about like that's one that meant the most to me, and I never had a good result there. But some bad luck. Like last year, Cam and I were like 14 seconds ahead, and we had year before last, we had the safety car come with the fuel drop. We couldn't get the minimum drop in. And we both went back to like 12th or something like that. And that's when Chaz and Percat got the 1-2.
Actually, the year you polled it in the Penske rig, there was a fuel drama then because that's when Percat got the win, right? You and Fabs were 2nd, 3rd, but something happened?
That was the wet race. That was the minimum drop.
Yeah, what happened with that? That was a minimum drop thing, wasn't
minimum drop, which is ridiculous. But going back to your point, I think, Shane, with
he wants to flush over that.
I don't know why I bring up so many bad times.
I remember that race was a joke. No one could fit the fuel in, and we're all sitting in pit lane on the pit limit at full throttle trying to burn all the fuel.
Yeah.
So we could fit it in.
Yeah, an LDM car won.
Percat won because but they forgot to put fuel in at the start of the race. So they had more fuel to put in. Because their team forgot to put fuel in the car. So
is that how it worked out? Fuck, that's classic. So a fuck-up actually won in one of the biggest races of the year.
I didn't know that. Fuck, there you go.
Unbelievable. Yeah, they pitted on lap 5 or something because they were out of fuel.
It's like winning a race because you forgot to put the wheels on properly. It rains, it made it quicker for you to change to wets or something, like.
Unreal.
I've now forgot my question.
Would have been a ripper, though.
It must have been
bullshit. I got a question for you, SVG. Favourite sector or section of corners at Adelaide on a push lap? Like, which is your favourite part of the circuit? Do you have one?
The first sector. Like, the first sector is the hardest because it's when you leave pit lane, it's pretty much all right-handers. So you don't get much opportunity to put temp in the right front tyre. You got turn 5, but then you don't have much until the end. And the first corner is this really fast left-hander, and you got to be so accurate not to get a curb hop. So I used to love I'd try and push. So I'd really weave in the first sector, and then I'd try and push from, turn 9 onwards and try and feel what you got, but you still don't really know. So that moment when you tip into turn 1 and have that uncertainty, is the thing going to turn or not? Then you got to react to it, how it's going to take that curb. And, if you could have that confidence to commit and the thing rotated, it was the best feeling. And then you could nail sector 1 and that would make you lap. That was always the best feeling if you could activate that right front tyre somehow, if you had a good engineer. not a driver. It was the coolest feeling, that first sector on a shootout lap. Like, yeah, it's that's why I always used to love that shootout there. If you could somehow nail it, I think 2018 was my best one when the ZB come out, and I remember I used to go wide at turn 7, and they had that yellow line, and everyone protested. I went out over the yellow line, but I got poled by a big amount. It was one of the best laps I've ever done. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's right. Now they've got the tyre bundle there, don't they? They then put the tyre bundle there.
No, they put a wall there.
That's right. There's a wall there now because it was.
They put a wall there. So the seal was rooted on the race line, but over the curb was really good.
Yeah.
So you'd blow the corner to get on a good seal. But the funny thing was, we counter protested because I think it was whoever it was protested us for going outside the line. But I think 6 or 7 of the other cars went over the line because the line was painted wrong at the corner before, turn 6 over that curb.
Yeah.
Almost every other car off the track there, and they're like, "Oh, we're not going to disallow laps for 8 of the 10 cars," and then they just let it all go. It was amazing. But yeah, the next day the line was moved, and the next year a wall turned up.
Yeah, okay. I remember before that wall because that was like V8 Ute days for me and stuff, and Super 2.
Yeah.
And you used to just blaze over it in the races.
I'm not a big fan of the wall there. Like, I think that's part of the character was the exit curb there.
Well, it's taken away a passing zone as well, which is obviously a negative on a street circuit. So they could have done it a little better, made the curb bigger or a little bit further out the curb maybe, because it was quite narrow on exit there.
Yeah.
If they just shifted the curb 3-4 meters, it would have changed the corner completely and you would have had a passing zone.
Yeah, true.
Totally agree though. Flying that centre chicane on your first push lap is always like, how's it going to land? Like, am I going to be all right, or am I going to end up in the boonies?
Oh, and there's nothing when you go through the first chicane without the front tyre temp and you hit turn 2 with a little bit of lock on, it's horrible. But if you can get through the first one and get the lock off before the actual big curb, you know you're on a good lap. You're like, oh, okay, we're on here.
I would always have the moment when you nail turn 1 and 2. You're going through 3 and you're just waiting for the engineer to key up, curb hop.
Yeah.
And your lap's ruined. But you'd be, didn't hear anything? Okay, press on. And you look at your delta and you're 10th up or whatever. It's the best feeling. But you get a lot of curb hops too, which is always shit because you never know. Like sometimes I would sky that and your car would fly funny. You'd cut the whole corner and you wouldn't get a curb hop. Oh, beauty. Thank you.
That used to be
it's
Well, I think not that long ago. It was probably up until 2016 or whatever. Before then, it was always judge of fact too. It was a marshal sitting there and would just dictate whether you jumped it or not. Because I remember in the Utes.
Must have been a while ago. Ours has been Beacon for a very long time.
Ours has been heard for a while.
Yeah, maybe it was just supports then. Maybe it was only on for Supercars. Because I remember it
might have been because of where the beacon has to be, the beacon in the car maybe.
I remember judge of fact once done me there and I got my fastest lap deleted.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was front row too.
I've had some cars where you can't get through there without hopping, and then you have some cars where it just grips up and pops, and it's like the same at Gold Coast too. Like Gold Coast was just RNG, random number generator. Like some weeks you have an amazing car, some weeks you popping. Like it's pot luck what transponder you have. It's a pretty shitty system, but that's all they have, I guess.
Just go back to bundles. I need to have a wee. Is that okay?
Yeah, I need a piss too.